Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization. Welcome back to the Targeting the Muscle series. Today's exercise to help us target the side delts more is the dumbbell lateral raise. We've got tips. Here we go. Tip number 1. Momentum. Momentum is an okay thing, but if you are having trouble feeling the target muscle, eliminating momentum or minimizing it is probably a wise idea. So, a lot of lateral raising, and there's not a damn thing wrong with this, looks like this. A little bit of wiggle, a little bit of momentum, and that's totally fine. But if you're really having trouble feeling the side delts, because if you don't have trouble feeling the side delts, hey, rock away, no worries. If you're having trouble feeling them, try to make sure that you control the momentum on both concentric and eccentric portions. Thus, you start, sometimes not even from the front like this, but start here at the sides. You can't swing into it from here. This, you can do that. Start here, and only with your side delts raise. And then on the way down, there's a temptation to let momentum take over. Don't do that. Raise with your side delts, slow on the way down. Raise only with your side delt, intentionally slow, not fast. Trust me, the shit will catch up to you. It'll burn eventually. Slower on the way up, only side delts, control eccentric on the way down. If you do that, 9 times out of 10, you will feel your side delts if you're having trouble with them. Next tip, degree of elbow bend. This is a tip that's one of those, you can try a few things and see which one works for you. But if you don't know to try them, you might be stuck in a pattern that's not super great. One way to do the elbow position is to completely lock it out. It's pretty easy to do standardized, lock up with your elbows and do the lateral raise with elbows completely locked. For some people, that makes all the difference. They feel their side delts a ton. For some folks, it hurts the elbow. It feels kind of weird and it's no bueno. So for some folks, they want to keep their elbow just slightly out of lock. Locked, slightly out of lock. Like this, and sometimes it can feel a lot better. So play with both and see which one is best for you. Next, ranges of motion. So there's not like one right way to do the lateral raise. There are plenty of good options. For folks with sensitive shoulders, if they give you a little bit of trouble, what you can do is lateral raise to almost parallel. If you control, no big deal, you get a great shoulder stimulus. Some other folks might try to go all the way to parallel and back down, and that's totally fine. If your shoulders can take it, that's probably a little bit better. There is another version where you go to above parallel, and then you can get a really, really baller shoulder pump, and everything works out super great. If your shoulder joints can take it, that's also good. And then, of course, there's the super ROM variant, in which you go all the way up and then control the eccentric. And all the way up and control the eccentric. That's not like better, but it can provide an awesome shoulder stimulus if your shoulder joints can take it. Just know that there are options. Here's the thing. You have sort of 2 paths to go. One is you find the best one of these that works for you and stick to that. 2 is you find that multiple of these work really well, but they're just sort of different styles, like rice versus whole grain bread versus pasta. And then, for a couple of months you do one style, for a couple of months you do the other, and now you have more variations. It's like having more exercises. Another thing you can try to get the side delts to feel this a bit more is an interesting modification. It turns out like the amount of force relative to your muscle's ability to produce it is really, really low over here. And leverage-wise, it's much harder over here. So if you're losing a bit of tension down here and you feel like this is kind of junk volume, what you can do is limit the motion to a 45-degree range at the bottom. So let's say I'm doing super ROM laterals and I'm coming all the way up here. I can come down to roughly 45 and then go back up. I'm still in a really productive range, and there's no time during this movement when my delts are not active. This doesn't mean it's a better way to do it, but if you're struggling with a mind-muscle connection, you totally can. And even if you just go to just above parallel, you can go from here to here just like that. And there's no damn thing wrong with that. But Dr. Mike, what about stretch under tension? Now, the thing is with lateral raises, it's not really possible because when you have the stretch, you don't have tension. Gravity doesn't fucking point sideways. So if you want stretch under tension, you got to use cables or something like that. But if you're really having trouble, stopping at about 45 degrees and going as high as here or even higher, totally great variation. Next tip is to play around with hand and finger position. So many people can feel the side delts more if they do them pinkies up. So pinkies up, pinkies towards the sky, like this, not like all the way up, but just a little higher than your thumbs. However, for some folks, that's not really good for their shoulders. So for them, they want to experiment with putting their thumbs up more, and then they do it like this. A bit more front delt activity this way, but nonetheless, you can hit the side delts well. And of course, there's conventional straight. So there's 3 different ways: pinkies up, straight, and thumbs up. Try all three, see which one works best for you. If your shoulders are golden, you can use these as 3 different variations potentially. If your shoulders are not golden in one of those, eliminate whichever ones they're not golden in and do the one that works best. All right, last tip. Sometimes, if you're really struggling with a mind-muscle connection, pauses can help. But these are pauses at the top, not at the bottom. Just a variation for you to try. So instead of doing this, which is 100% fine, that's what I do most of the time, you can pause. I would pause at mechanically the hardest position or close to it. So pause, hold for 1 second, down slow. Pause, hold for a sec, down slow. When you're pausing, you really need to activate your side delts to keep that movement in the air. That can enhance your mind-muscle connection. You can feel the target muscle more. Whole fucking video series is titled that shit. And you can finally have huge side delts. Try to walk into a door, the door frame breaks, and you're the Hulk. Congratulations, folks. Like, subscribe, comment, do YouTube things. If you have an exercise you want us to talk about and break down to tell you how to target the muscle better, let us know in the comments. See you guys next time.